Good morning. Denise Dryden here. I'm out on Bainbridge Island, sitting in the backyard. It's absolutely glorious today. It's summertime. It's time to celebrate anytime the sun's out. So today I want to talk about understanding the Aquarian energy sort of as a parent, right? So we're gonna look at those tremendous gifts that the kids under 12 are bringing to us, because they're really different than the older kids, and the challenges that each of us face when parenting these brilliant young souls forward, right? So first and foremost, many of you followed my videos over the last 3 years, and you know that I've been moving around between topics like focusing on how to be a parent. You know, what happens when this happens and you're the adult and you're guiding them. The second thing is how to know yourself really well so that you can lead others. Because if you don't have your feet on the ground, you can't lead. You can't parent, right? And the third thing is that deep exploration of energy. Like, let's keep understanding how energy works, because the more we know about energy, the more we can help these kids, these beautiful kids of ours. So I've done two really big presentations, one global summit through the Shift Network and another through the sensitivity summit out of Los Angeles. And both of them I've been guests talking about what I see as these decades or these stages of children or energies that have been coming onto the planet. So I've been able to sort of let loose and really start to talk about some of the stuff that I've been passionately studying and sort of holding back. And I'm not going to hold back anymore. So I want to talk today about the Aquarian kids, which is roughly that 2008, anyone born 2008 and moving forward. So they're like 12, they're 10, they're 11, they're 10, they're babies, they're coming in. And they're still coming in, let's be really clear. So to put this in context, over the last 50 years, we've seen some really big changes in the school systems, in the therapeutic environments, in the parenting scenarios with our children. 1970s to 1990s, we saw a lot of oppositionality. It was kind of like this warrior energy that stepped forward and said, I don't like you, I'm going to fight with you, I'm going to get kicked out of class, I'm going to get kicked out of the house. And, it's sort of like this integrity truth warrior with a sword going. So they're warriors of truth. 1990s to 2000, we saw a new kind of kid, a vibrational kid that worked on sort of holding where they are, but sort of tipping the education system on their ear. They had a lot of issues with trying to understand, how do these kids learn? How do they read? They read slower. They read much bigger than others. They're super intelligent, but they have gaps in executive functioning. So we're going to call those the holders. These are vibrational kids that they can really feel everything in their experiential in their body. The 2000 to 2009 kids, we saw these magical kids with no desire to differentiate or separate into different categories. We call them the rainbows, like they're just, whatever goes. And so what we see is a lot of children who are now turning into 16 to 20-year-olds, and they're blenders. They're blenders. They don't, gender, race, age, none of it matters. They like to see people as sort of energy beings. So they're the blenders. This 2008 and forward, the culmination of these sort of three energies all came together into these new kids. They're into these energetic signatures that go with these kids, which is that they're warriors. They know how to stand up for what they want. They are holders, which means that they are vibrationally holding for what's there. They're blenders, and they're spreaders, which is like, I'm just unconditional love and I'm going to spread it around, but I have some rock core parts of my being that aren't going to go away. So I spent the last month meeting with parents with 12 and under kids and doing some research. And, what they see is that their kids are strong, sensitive, different. They don't like or don't want to fit into the societal norms, whether that's school, whether that's the sort of the big family gatherings, or the huge expectations of church or community work, the expectations of grandparents and elders. They're really talented, yet they're restless. They want guidance, but they don't want rules that don't make sense to them. So I'm going to call these the Aquarian kids because they're really unique and beautiful. So the culmination of all that preceded them is sort of like been building up. And so I'm going to date myself, of course, because in the 1960s, I remember everything was about the age of Aquarius. You know, my parents had a hi-fi. They'd put an album on and they danced to Brazil 66 singing Age of Aquarius. You know, we got to see hair come out. There were all these really beautiful pieces talking about what's possible when this Aquarian age comes into form. And I'm here to tell you it's here, the kids are here, and we've started. So in order to understand what it really means to be in the age of Aquarius and have these Aquarian kids, I went to astrology for information, and I went to some really hard facts, you know, grounded pieces of what the astrology books have been saying for years. So, you know, astrology as Aquarius as an astrological sign is January 22nd through February 22nd. It's fixed, which means that it doesn't move, and it's air, which is mental. And so they're co-creators. They're expanded consciousness. They're elevated cooperation, like cooperation times 10, collaborators. They are here to expand the horizons of our society, to release old forms in order to expand into new consciousness. This is right in the astrology books of what an Aquarian energy signature is going to look like. Aquarius holds the 11th house in astrology, and the 11th house is about friends and social interaction and social expansion. It's about reorganizing for a new vision. It's social reform through new freedoms, expanded ideas, and new inventions. So I'm starting to put this together and going, yeah, these are really big powers. Aquarius is also ruled by the planet Uranus. Uranus is the 8th planet in our solar system. And when Uranus shows up, it's impulsive. It is non-negotiable. It comes in and it breaks us free of outdated or outmoded forms. It's, you know, comes in and it says, you can't do that anymore. Let's get you out of that. It's change. Uranus is always known as the disruptor, the one that's going to revolt and say no. And, you know, there's this beautiful creativity and originality with how it comes from. So when you think about this and you look at just what astrology is saying, that they're here to build a new horizon. They're here to break out of old forms, and they're here to organize a new vision. It makes so much sense that these kids are, the age of Aquarius, we're starting to see kids who are very much like that, right? Wow. I mean, how do you parent a kid with this kind of vision or purpose? So I've spent the last 25 years working with families and teens and young adults and working, coaching family dynamics. You know, like, what do you do when this stuff happens, right? So this is what I know so far. And this is an ongoing list that's always moving. Number 1, Aquarian energy is sensitive, empathic, intuitive. These kids see all you're dancing around. Everything that you think you're hiding, they see. So what you know about yourself, what you don't know about yourself, they're right in your face and they know it. Number 2, they're resistant to being embedded with old programming that doesn't belong to them, that belongs to you or older other generations. Things like how important it is to go to school. School doesn't feel good, they're not going to go. The family system, the hierarchy, the elders, the patriarch. Religious systems, expectations, whatever it is that we want to embed, program, you know, identify that this is how you live in our society and this is how we want you to adhere. They're like, no, not doing it. We're here to break that apart, not adhere to it. Oh no. 3, they're overwhelmed. They have really big work to do here, and they need to know how, and they need tools. Fighting with us, trying to even like show who they are and to be accepted for who they are takes so much energy. They're here to dismantle, to step away from existing forms, outmoded forms, and to refuse that which no longer works. That's their job. That's in their inherent DNA, is to break the old molds. So all the noise and angers and fights and pressures and external fears just overwhelm them. The resistance overwhelms them. The lack of tools, lack of direction overwhelms them. The expectations of what they're supposed to do overwhelms them. The stagnation of things that don't change and just sit like they're okay overwhelms them. So they get overwhelmed really easy, and they don't know what to do when that happens. Number 4, they won't stay. They're not going to stay here. These kids are here to instigate change, really profound change in our world, real progress. And if they see rigidity at the house or in school or in the community or in the world, they leave. They have no compunction about staying. Where, if we're not ready for them, if our culture isn't ready for them, and we don't understand them, they have no qualms about leaving because they're despondent, they're discouraged, they have this constancy of fear and negativity, and that's not who they are. They're little beings of light that are here to bring change and dismantle. If there's refusal to dismantle, they will leave. They will find methods to just check out and go, whether it's at their own hands or through disease or whatever. They will leave. They will not stay. And number 5, they're magnificent on so many levels of love, unconditional love, patience, vision, creativity. They have skills, they have intelligence, they have emotional and intellectual clarity. They have drive, they have inventiveness, they have collaboration. So, you've got this super powerful little being who's not attached to staying, who's going to give it their very best shot and going to push you harder than you've ever been pushed. So as parents, as grandparents, as teachers, and as we move forward as bosses and collaborators with them, what do we need to know about them so we can guide them, so we can be there for them? So I'm going to say, first and foremost, look at all the social media memes over the last 2 to 3 years, because these are going to tell you what we've been asked to do over and over and over again. So number 1, know yourself really well. If you know yourself, you aren't being subjective to judgment or frustration. So if you know yourself, your gifts, your shadow side, the part of you that you've been avoiding to look at, look at social media. It's been saying, let it go. Get to know yourself. Go to your authentic self. Go there. Get to know all of you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to explore highly sensitive sites, empath sites, intuition sites, energy sites. Whatever you think it is, whatever you think do more. Use those kick-ass research skills that you've developed and well-honed, which has made you the phenomenal parent that you are, the phenomenal adult that you are. Use them to research and get into these areas of exploration, study, and find out what you need to know, what you can know. Number 3, explore learning options. Really explore learning options in your area. What are the kinds of alternative schools that are there for your kid? And if there aren't, consider moving to a town or a city that has an alternative school that will suit the needs of your children or child. What you want to do is you want to embrace them. You want to consider whether it's homeschooling or moving to a place where there's a school that they can work with, whether it's exploring hack schooling, which is to be the entrepreneur that you know how to be. Collect the data. Find out, how do I tweak all of this, where I've got an online course and I've got a supplement with a group of other parents, and I do some tutoring time with someone who's a specialist in the areas that I don't know, and I've put together an entire system that's going to take this kid where they need to go. So what we know is that our kids want us to teach us the skills that they really need, which is unconditional love, collaboration, reform, expansion, creativity, innovation, and social empowerment. These are the kinds of things that they need to learn in school. And if they're in a school that doesn't teach that, they need to be someplace else. Number 4, learn how to empower. Really empower them. Empower each other. Learn the concept of empowerment. Again, use those kick-ass skills of yours. Watch videos. Figure out, what does it mean to empower? Because what we want to do is we want to confirm them. We want to see our kids and we want to confirm that what you're seeing is real. What you know is truth. And so instead of making them feel off or wrong, where they become despondent, we want to empower them so that they really feel like we have their back. so that we can guide them. They don't need us. They don't need a cheerleader to go, you're doing great, you're doing great. They need someone to say, that thing you just did, that was awesome. How did you learn how to do that? And really, like, let them know that they're magnificent. Let them show you what they know how to do, and then teach them with your empowerment words. Yes, I see you doing that. I see you lead, adapt, co-create, collaborate. You're doing phenomenal. Okay? Empowerment. Number 5, model. Model, 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 model. They need to know what's possible. They need to know what an adult looks like when an adult goes through change. They need to see change happening. They need to see progress. So you have to be the model of progress in their world until they're old enough to see it in other places. They get to watch you go, oh my, I have an issue with anger. I'm going to go figure out what that's about, and I'm going to start working on those tools. Hey, how am I doing on this? So model every single thing that you possibly can, right? And so I just want to close with this concept that last month I met with 9 moms who all have kids 12 and under. And the most amazing concept tool showed up. It was something that I realized sort of brought together all of the skills that I've been working with transformational presence, coaching, these Aquarian kids, everything, which is whenever you see a behavior, especially a tantrum, something you don't know what to do about, something you're not pleased with, something that is disruptive, right? See that disruptive energy and go with it. See it as energy and play with it. Harness it. Redirect it. The behavior is not personal. It's just energy. So let it show you what wants to happen. Let it show you where else it can go. When passion comes up, where do we take it? When anger comes up, how do we take it and shift it into progress in another area? So enjoy the heck out of these kids. They're magnificent. And, you know, there's more videos here on sort of how I've been building towards these kids. If you want to, you can find them on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. You can find them on YouTube. Have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful summer. We're coming at the end of July, and get outside and play. Take care. Bye-bye.